Good morning, Real Men with Cast Iron. This episode we're gonna actually have to start in the morning. As you can see, I just grabbed my nice little coffee for the morning here. What we have today is we're gonna do a absolutely beautiful lobster pie in the cast. We're gonna fill our cast iron with nice little goodies, put a nice little crust on the top, and have some fun with it. But the first question may be, why is it the morning right now? The reason why it's the morning right now is to be able to make a really yummy lobster pie, or any type of pie, chicken pie, even a vegetable pot pie. What you're going to need first, you're going to need a phenomenal stock. So what we're going to do today is actually we're going to make a stock, and in the process of making the stock, the cool thing that you guys are going to be able to get from a classic New Englander is how to break down the lobster without lobster crackers. We'll be right back. Excellent, welcome back. What we're going to do first here is we're going to want to get some type of tray, if you can, that actually has an edge up on it, not entirely flat, but something that's got a nice amount of space, because believe it or not, these even though these lobsters have been sitting in the refrigerator for a couple of days, they're actually going to be pretty wet. We had a classic lobster clam bake the other day, and these are just two leftover lobsters that we had. We're not really sure entirely what to do with them. So what we're going to do first here is we're going to pull these guys out of here. And you can even see these guys are dripping, and there's some water in there. And you know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to take that water and we're going to use it for the stock too. It's fantastic yummy stock. What we want to do is we want to create ultimately lobster water. I know it sounds kind of gross, but when you make the roux later, it makes everything taste so tremendously fantastic. Alright, so the first things that we're going to do is we're going to separate the claws from this guy. They pull off pretty doggone easily. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to separate the tail. The way that you separate the tail is very simple. You go against it, you don't pull this way, you pull this way, nice and gently, and it breaks off, okay? All that in there is, you know, it's a delicacy in some places, and some places it's not. It's kind of like up in the air in New England. A lot of people like, a lot of people don't. You're going to take all this, there's a little bit of meat in here, so what? You're going to take all of this guy, bang, put him right in there. He's done. Well, that splashed a little bit. Alright, and this is the way that we deal with the tail. What's happening with the tail is that if you try to go at the tail with any of this, man, I mean, this is like armor. You're not getting anywhere. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your two thumbs right in the middle like this, and you're going to push in the middle. And if you hear that little crack, you know that you've cracked what this is cartilage under there. And a little bit, and a couple of bones that come across in the tail. And then once you've cracked all the way down that, you should be able to come to the sides, put your thumb underneath the lip of his scales there, and what we're going to do is we're just going to crack this guy right open. And like I said, man, it's lobster, it's watery, it's going to fly everywhere, try to catch it all. We're going to hold on to this piece of meat right here, and we're going to just leave it right there. What we're going to do here for the rest of the time is I'm going to crack open this shell, and we'll be right back to get the claws. Alright, back at Real Men with Cast Iron. What we're going to do here is, what I want to show you here is that most lobster tails you're going to see, they look like this, okay? And they don't look like this. And the reason why is because of their intestines. Yummy. What you want to do, very similar to a shrimp, is you want to grab onto these two little pieces of muscle right here. Believe it or not, you're just going to pull them back. What that's going to do is it's going to expose that main intestine line. And although I'm sure it tastes nice and lobstery itself, we're going to take this little intestine and get rid of it. Pull it all the way out through the end of the tail. Alright, and we're going to take it and we're going to get rid of it. And of course we have our last step, which is the claw. Everybody's very afraid of this claw. The most important thing to opening a claw with your hands in New England is the chef. This is soft shell lobster. It's a soft shell. You can see it has a little bit of give here. So if this thing is cooked appropriately, it should really come apart pretty easily. Not just at the joint like all of these do right there. We're going to take the knuckle off of the claw there. And not just at this joint, we're going to get all that water. Not just that joint, which as we pull right off there, we're going to be able to grab onto a nice piece of meat right there. Okay, it's a very succulent piece of meat. We're gonna hold on to that even though it's so little. Now we're stuck with this guy. In all honesty, ladies and gentlemen, if you have some scapular retraction, you have a couple of wrists, you really shouldn't have a problem popping that open like that. And look at that. There's your yummy little meat. We're gonna hold on to that and put that in there. Last thing that we have is we have the knuckles. We're going to break these right at the joint too. Very often when you break them at the joint and you come across nice and gently, you're actually going to end up pulling that meat out. We're going to put that in there. Now what we want to do is we're actually going to use this to wiggle out this piece of meat. That fell off, but the good news is we have enough to be able to pull, and it's out, and we get that into our little bowl. All right, and if you have anything left that's in there, you can just take a toothpick or anything like that and literally just stick it through. This is gonna be a really, really tiny little piece. If we can get to it, or you can just, you know, go back to the old original way of using your hands and ripping this guy apart. Yeah, there it is. That's literally the little piece we were after. All right, no more meat in there. Oh, a little bit more meat in there. There's our meat. There's our meat. Alright, that's the little guy. Put that guy over there. Put this over here. Here's that nice yummy knuckle meat. Oh, it's so good. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do these two last guys. I'm going to come right back and we're going to show you how to make this stock. Alright, I'm about halfway through this stupid thing and I've just realized that my elastic has been on my hand all the time. My hair is up. This is not okay. When you cook, you take your hair and you put it up first. Bad cook. Cut. Alright, so now that we have our shells done here, awesome. My hands are nice and nasty. I'm going to just wash these off just a little bit. Towel this off. Alright, so now that we have our lobster here, what we're going to do is we're going to find a nice little place for this later. I'm going to put that right there for right now. And we're going to take the rest of this water that's sitting on this guy and we're just going to steal it, pull it right into there. Beautiful. Alright, get rid of this. We're going to pull this up here. And all we need now, super simple. Here we go. Here's the complication of it. Lobster guts into the bowl. And into the pot. Excellent. We're going to take this pot, we're going to fill it up with water. We're going to put it on there on very, very low, and literally we are going to let this simmer all day long. When we come back tonight, we're going to finish up the lobster pie from all the way from the stock to the final nice golden brown crust, cookie cracker crust that we're going to pull right out of the top of that thing. So enjoy your day, and I will see you back here in about 12 hours or so. Go! Don't worry about it. Just set it. No guiding if you need it. Go! Shoulders back. Get trapped. Go! More inside, more inside. Go! There it is. Welcome back to Real Men Cook with Cast Iron. We're here tonight after our little morning of making our lobster stock from the shells and stuff like that. Lucky for us, tonight we actually have a special guest from Maine, hailing from a small little town in Maine, being a lobster connoisseur. This lobster is actually from Maine itself. We're going to put the Maine lobster into a Maine lobster pie tonight, and I'd like to welcome Thomas Morris to the show.
Hey Mark.
How's it going, man?
It's going great.
I have a great, nice frosty beverage for you there.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I hear we're cooking lobster.
Yeah, we got a little lobster going on. We got some lobster. We had some lobster the other night, the clam bake, which he was attending, and we'll be cooking the rest of this. So
excited.
We're gonna be right back here with a couple of knives and some stirring utensils, and Real Men Cook with Cast Iron. Right back. Welcome back to Real Men Cook with Cast Iron. We're here. This is the deal with lobster pie, okay? One, it's not an actual pie, so there's not any crust around it. We're sneaky. Two, there's not any crust on top either. It's breadcrumbs. Buttery breadcrumbs with some yum, spices and whatnot that you'll learn about later. The key to lobster pie, to anyone in the middle of our country that probably doesn't get this a lot, is lobster. I mean lobster.
It's helpful.
You need to have lobster.
If it's
lobster
in the title, it's helpful.
But I mean, it needs to be clumpy. You need to be able to stick a fork in it and be like, yo, that is a tail. That's what you need, right?
Yeah.
Right there, just the visual, the feeling, the home style cooking, the feeling that, this is part of our settlers' original meals, the Native Americans. This is how they lived for a while. Like, you just get that really good feel, particularly when it's cooked in cast iron. It's a really nice, yummy feeling. You grew up with.
For sure, man.
So it's lobster. There's not a lot of other stuff that we're going to really get into. We're going to put a little bit of potato, put some onion in, we'll do whatever. But like I said, it's lobster. It's the taste of lobster. We have our lobster stock over here that's going crazy. We have the lobster itself. Everything's going to taste like lobster. We really need to make sure that we're going to actually put a little bit of the lobster stock that we have into the breadcrumbs, and then put the breadcrumbs on top, so the breadcrumbs have a little lobster.
And actually, Marc,
lobster.
For Mainers, in heaven, everything tastes like lobster.
There it is, right? I mean, that's exactly what we're looking at. What is your favorite lobster experience?
My favorite lobster experience, there's a lobster shack in Bath, Maine, which is about an hour and a half north from where I grew up, where my parents still live today. And in the lobster shack, they literally have a 10-gallon cast iron kettle, like a cauldron, over an open fire, pit. It's a semi-rocky beach. It's behind the shack, so it smells like lobster. You go to the shack, you order your lobster, they hand it to you wrapped in newspaper, and they get you a little cup of butter, they hand you half a lemon, and they say, good luck.
Yeah,
and you go out to they have picnic tables set up on the beach, you go out to the picnic tables, you bash the lobster against picnic tables, you find rocks, you break the lobsters open, and the lobsters come out of the water into the pot.
Yeah. So
it's the freshest thing that you can find, and it's always really delicious and fun. You have to bring your own cerveza, so.
That's a kind of fun little thing.
Absolutely. Well, it means you can drink good beer.
Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to get you set up with some onions. I'm going to have you dice some onions. I'm going to dice some onions. You're actually going to dice
I was about to say I'm not qualified
the lobster.
for onion dicing.
We're going to get the roux going. We're going to get everything right when we come back.